Hi writers! This lesson is focused on telling a story through your character's eyes. Today, I want to add one more quality of powerful narrative writing to our list. And first, I'll start by explaining why this matters so much. So, over the weekend, I was finishing up Korra, which is the sequel or spin-off from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is really good. You have to watch it. And I was in the final episode, and it gets pretty intense. If you've watched it, you'll understand. I won't give anything away because I want you all to watch it. I was watching the final episode and I was so invested. It was like Saturday night. I really got in the zone to watch a really awesome show. The lights were off. I had popcorn in my hand. I was glued into the TV when all of a sudden, ring, 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 my mom's calling me. I was totally taken out of the moment. Like I was just in the world with them. And then I was all of a sudden in reality. And I was happy to be talking to my mom, of course, but sad to be taken out of the amazing world of Avatar and Korra. So maybe you've had moments like that where you've been doing something like watching a really amazing show or playing a video game or reading a book that you're so into that you almost fall into the world of the story until all of a sudden someone just kind of yanks you out. So here's the point I want to make about powerful writing. Today, I want to teach you that when you're telling a true story, you need to do everything you can to make your readers feel like they're living in the world of your story too. That means writing from inside the narrator's perspective, including only details about what the narrator, what you saw, heard, did, and thought. So I'm going to show you how I do this using some of the writing that I did yesterday. So I'll share that with you right now, and you can help me to think of whether or not I am staying inside the moment, or am I maybe breaking away from the moment and telling some details that maybe don't make sense for my character, for me. Okay, so this is what I wrote yesterday. And I want you just to think alongside me. Am I staying in the world of my story, telling you details that ring true from my experience or what you'd imagine my experience to be? Or am I breaking away from it? Am I stepping out? Okay. I'll jump down to the part that is new. Grampy, I asked, with my eyes still closed, blocking out the sun. At that moment, I realized I hadn't heard him say anything for a while. Gramps? No response. So I peeked through my tightly bound eyelids that were working so hard to block out the sun and noticed that his sandy toes were not where they had been before I had decided to tune out the world around me. I could feel my heart starting to race now, pushing my body from the sandy bed I had carved out for myself. I finally saw that his beach chair was, in fact, empty. I'm gonna pause there. Let's just check in. I think that everything here is pretty much true to what I experienced. And you know what I'm running through in my mind as I'm checking? What I said, what I did, what I thought, what I felt. Those kinds of details that we've been talking about for the last few days are also the details I want to be checking as I'm making sure I'm telling the whole story from my own perspective. And so everything I've included feels true to me. And also, as I'm reading it back, it's how I remember the experience. So take note of that. As you start to eventually move into your own writing, you want to be maybe running through those same details in your head too. What did you think? What did you see? What did you feel? What did you do? Is that what actually happened or close enough? Then you're probably on track. Let's keep reading and see if I stay in my perspective or if I step out. My heart started beating faster. Where is he? I asked no one. I turned my head toward the ocean. He couldn't have. I smashed my eyes together, squinting, trying to make out the tiny shapes bobbing around in the water. Not a sign of him. My heart nearly fell out of my chest as I let myself consider the unthinkable. No longer able to remain idle, I launched from my towel and raced to the ocean edge. I could feel tears already streaming down my face. People were staring at me now. I could feel their eyes on me. They were wondering what was wrong and if they should do something to help. They decided to call for help. You probably noticed as I was reading that aloud, I started to be like, wait, what? I didn't see that, feel that, hear that, or think that when I was in the moment. Remember, when you're telling a true story, you're reliving it from inside the moment. And that's not my moment. That's like what was happening maybe on the outside. Sometimes we get to watch movies or TV shows that go back and forth, or read books that go back and forth between one perspective and another. But that's not what I'm doing here, is it? No, I'm writing a narrative story from my perspective. When this was all happening to me, I had no idea that people around me were worried. I mean, maybe I could have guessed if I had looked long enough, but I would have no idea that they had like all talked and decided to call for help. So this part right here is definitely something that I feel like I need to change because it's not true to me. So right now, I'm going to think back to that part again, and I'm going to think about what was that experience like. And it really helps, again, to think about these kinds of details we've been talking about for the last few days. What was I doing, saying, thinking, feeling in that moment? I'm just going to rehearse it in the air and just see if I can make it a little bit better. Maybe I just say something about like what actually I said, did, thought, or felt. Okay, so the eyes are shooting in my face. Maybe I could say people were staring at me, or I noticed that people were staring at me. I noticed people were staring at me, but I didn't care. I was only focused on one thing. Do you see I'm now using a detail like one of these ones from the list? My thinking. I'm also talking about like what I saw, what I experienced. So yeah, I noticed them and I'm going to include them in this part of the story, but from the way that I saw their concerned faces. I just decided I didn't care. I kept going. So today, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to start by rereading your own writing to yourself. I think it really helps if you reread this aloud. Maybe you whisper it to yourself, or maybe you use your conch shell where you cup your ear like this, and then you talk into your hand and you can hear it like a microphone. I love doing that because it helps me hear myself so clearly that I'm not being distracted to other people around me. So reread your writing to yourself and have this chart out nearby. It's posted on the Padlet and also on Google Classroom. And as you reread it, check in and make sure that everything that you're saying, all the details, match what actually happened to you. And if it doesn't match, or if you feel like you're kind of stepping out of it, do what I did, pause, and then reimagine the story. Ask yourself what you were actually saying, doing, thinking, feeling, and then try it again by storytelling it bit by bit, using the details that ring true. So start by rereading, stop if it doesn't match, and then you literally just follow these steps again to revise.